Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. A very good afternoon to all the guests. With great joy and immense excitation, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all of you for today's webinar on Boosting Immunity with Ayurveda, organized by Digis Action. I, Suchita, welcome you all on the behalf of Digis Action. Before I proceed, let me take a brief moment for the introduction of my organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development, entrepreneurship, and livelihood generation, etc. SEMS Group has conducted various international conferences, seminars, workshops, and webinars in emerging technologies in various parts of India, and also has an active network of 3,000 plus engineers, managers, researchers, etc. Digis Axiom is also another initiative of SEMS Group and has also conducted more than 100 webinars, 10 FTBs, workshops, and 6 international conferences. The topic for today's webinar is Boosting Immunity with Ayurveda by Dr. Ruchika Jha ma'am. In the wake of COVID-19 outbreak, entire mankind across the globe is suffering to enhance the body's natural defense system. Immunity plays an important role in maintaining optimum health. We all know that prevention is better than cure. So it will be good to take preventive measures which boost our immunity in these times. I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day, Dr. Ruchika Jha ma'am, a public healthcare consultant and a medical doctor by profession, and also a Harvard speaker for Asian and international relation projects. She has delivered various healthcare projects for WHO, USAID, UNDP, and for the Indian government. Prior to working in the public health domain, Dr. Ruchika ma'am was working as a clinical doctor come medical officer at a primary healthcare center in Maharashtra and also in the various tertiary hospitals providing healthcare accessibility for all the sections in the society. The world is full of gems and diamonds, and we are having one of them here today to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our guest speaker, Dr. Ruchika ma'am, with big round of applause.
Thank you so much, Suchita, for a wonderful introduction. And I'm really glad to meet you virtually today for today's session on boosting immunity with Ayurveda. And it's been conducted by Operation SEMS Group, RDG Saksham. So
Yes,
let us
ma'am.
begin the session of how to boost immunity with Ayurveda. Let us see what is the contents about this PPT. It's hardly 12 slides PPT. So it's like we will study and know about what is Ayurveda definition, Ayurveda principle, immunity definition, types of immunity, factors affecting immunity, poor immunity causes, how we can boost our immunity, and what are the high immunity booster fruits and vegetables which we can adapt in our day-to-day life and which is very easily adaptable, like a based home remedies kind of. So let us see what is Ayurveda, what is the definition of Ayurveda. So the word Ayurveda is formed by the combination of two words, which is basically Ayur, which means life, and Veda, which means knowledge and also known as science. Thus, Ayurveda means the knowledge of life or the life science. It teaches us how to live a proper, healthy lifestyle for the prevention and also for the curative measures of diseases. Let us go know what are the basic principles of Ayurveda. So Ayurveda says swastasya swasthya rakshanam aturasya vikar prashananam, which means that Ayurveda maintains good health in healthy person, which is also known as preventive care, and as well as cure the disease or the sick person both physically and mentally, which is curative care. So it works basically on preventive and also the curative care, not only on the curative care. Let us know what is the definition of immunity. So immunity is basically the rog pratirog kshamta, as in Sanskrit it states, which means the self-defense mechanism of the body. Also in Ayurveda, the immunity is also known as ojas, the word which I have not mentioned in this slide, but it is also called as ojas, which is spread across the seven tissues, across all the tissues, seven dhatus in the body, and which gives us the self defense mechanism. to fight against the diseases. Now let us know what are the types of immunity. So according to Ayurveda, there are three types of immunity. So first is Sahaj, which is congenital or natural, which for example, like the baby acquires the immunity from the mother through breastfeeding. So therefore it's very essential, breastfeeding, lactation in mothers for the first 6 months of life. Second is Kalach, which is related to time, season and age. For example, let us understand this in a bit detail. It's related to time in the sense, and the season is basically, for example, in Ayurveda, it states there are three doshas and seven dhatus in the bodies. So we won't go into a much detail about the three doshas and seven dhatus, but for a basic understanding, let us know what are the three doshas of Ayurveda. So it says that the three constituents of the body are vata, pitta, and kapha. So what happens in rainy season, the vataj element is very high in the body, which causes the displacement of pitta and kapha in the body and causes various diseases. So you must have practically seen around you, like in rainy season there are many people fall ill as compared to summer and as compared to winter season, because of this doshas imbalance in the individual body as well as in the environment also, which interacts with the individual. So let us understand in brief. So basically, according to Ayurveda, the pure immunity is in poorest immunity is in rainy season. So many people fall ill mostly in this season. Then second is the summer season, and then the best immunity is in the winter season, because the kapha element in the body is highest at that time as per Ayurveda. So let us consider the point like the age in the Kalash type. So Ayurveda says, like, as we grow older, our immunity gets, like, according to the age, our immunity gets deteriorated little bit over the time. So in children, they have the best immunity as compared to adults, as compared to old age, and in the old age the immunity is the poorest or the lowest. Therefore, like the old age people are more prone to diseases and disorders as compared to the children and the adults, and the adults are somewhere in the moderate part, and the children have the best immunity because they have the kapha's element in them the highest. So Kalaj is also related to the time in the sense it says the 24 hours of time we have, in which it's morning, afternoon, evening, night. So it's like the doshas is also highest or the peak in such time. For example, so let's say the kafaj element, which is the evening time, if it's the highest, so at that time the immunity is better. At night time, when the Vatach element is high, so our immunity is little bit comparatively less at that time. So in that time, if we don't sleep on time at the night hours, so we are more prone to diseases and disorders as compared. So this is the meaning of Kalach. Then third is Yukti Kruta, which is, this is a Sanskrit word which is called as acquired. For example, vaccination, we acquire great immunity through vaccination, as you must have seen the post-COVID era, we have been vaccinated for the COVID. Now, let us see what are the factors affecting immunity. So, there are various factors affecting immunity. In the next slide, we will go in more detail. Let us now just know what is it. So, first is diet, second, lifestyle, sleep cycle, physical activity, obesity, malnutrition, diseased condition, comorbidity of disease, which means in one person if there are one or more diseases or disorder at the same time and it interacts like at the same time, it's called as comorbidity of diseases. Stress and anxiety, steroids, like the intake of various drugs, in which the steroids is one of them. High power antibiotics, so many diseases, one of which is tuberculosis, in which very high power antibiotic is used, and many are such in which nowadays people use high power. So that also affects immunity. Alcohol intake, smoking, and also, of course, age, as we discussed earlier. So let us now know what are the poor immunity causes. Like what causes our immunity to be very poor. So first is improper diet. So let us understand it in a bit detail. For example, if we don't take a proper diet, like the proper proportion of carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, which is fats, in our diet, or the egg intake, milk intake, and nowadays, like there is a culture of more gymming, or let's say keto diet, which means only protein diet. So these are not a proper method of like the balanced diet. So for the balanced diet for our body, we need the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and all the essential fibers to digest. Not just carbohydrates, not just proteins, not just fats. So it should be a balanced ratio of each of them. Second is no timely intake of food. For example, it's very important, like even if you take a balanced diet, and for example, if you don't take it on a timely basis, so that is going to cause you indigestion, and indigestion is going to cause you constipation, then many other illnesses and diseases, so on gradually. So as per Ayurveda, there is a fixed time. For example, the best time to have lunch is between 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., because the pith element in the body, which is the heat element in the body, is highest at that time, and so the digestive fire of the body can do the proper, they like the efficient metabolic rate is there at that time, and it can digest our food. So the best time is 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. between, to have the lunch. Ayurveda says have a light breakfast, and in the morning hours, and a light dinner. Yeah, you can have a heavy lunch in this proper duration. And you must have noticed, like if you eat like after 2 p.m., 3 p.m., you have like indigestion and all those things, acidity and all those. Third is dehydration or inadequate water intake. So if you are not drinking adequate amount of water, let's say, which is 6 to 8 glasses of water at least a day, so it won't help in the proper digestion, or it won't help in the proper bile acid secretion and digestion in the body, and which would then again cause the poor immunity. Fourth is irregular sleep or inadequate sleep. If you don't have inadequate sleep, proper sleep for 6 to 8 hours at a stretch, it doesn't means like you have sleep, you say like I am having like I sleep 6 to 8 hours break, like we I sleep 3 hours at a go, then again 3 hours, so that won't work. You need to have like it's 6 to 8 hours of sleep at a stretch. And also it should be a irregular sleep, like at a continuous one. The pattern should not be irregular. So irregular sleep is mainly caused in many diseased and disorder conditions, also backache problem, spine problem, degenerative problem. If you have any such, you need to go for the doctor's consultation. Then next point is lack of physical activity. If you don't do any sort of physical activity, so that would again cause the poor immunity, because lack of physical activity will cause the poor digestive fire, and which would in turn cause the poor immunity. Excessive exercise or physical activity. Nowadays there is a trend to gym or do exercise for more than 2 hours. So as per the Ayurveda, it says ideally there is a shlok which states that Vyayama Sharira Ardha Balam, which means we should do exercise or physical activities only up to maximum 50% of our capacity, not more than that, because anything in excessive or anything which is deficient will cause poor immunity. Then it's like high stress and anxiety nowadays due to this improper lifestyle. There we all go through stress and anxiety at some point of a time. But yes, if you have very high stress and anxiety for a prolonged period of time, you need to show to your doctor, so that you don't suffer from poor immunity, and which gradually turns into a disease or disorder. The next point is obesity. So in case you're obese or you are malnourished, both causes poor immunity. Lack of breastfeeding, as I explained earlier, it's very important for the baby to have the best breastfeeding, to acquire the congenital immunity from the mother. So it's very important to go for lactation the first 6 months of life. Excessive alcohol intake again causes poor immunity. Excessive smoking, diseased condition or chronic medication, if you are like a diseased person, or a chronic medication is going on in which high power antibiotics you are taking for prolonged, like 4 years, 5 years, so it's again causes poor immunity. One of the disease in which the prolonged or chronic is being like treatment is being considered, it's tuberculosis, one of them, and there are many such. Then it's like diseased condition or chronic medication. Comorbidity of disease, again, as I explained, like if you have or suffering from one or more diseases, it is again going to cause you poor immunity. Excessive sugar intake. Excessive sugar causes the high C reactive protein in our body, which in turn again causes poor immunity. And intake of steroid or high power antibiotics, so we should refrain from taking steroidal drugs or high power antibiotic as far as possible. Now we'll see how we can boost our immunity. So let us see if we should have a well balanced diet which includes carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, milk, egg, leafy vegetables, lemon, and also avla. Avla, which is Indian gooseberry. So we should not go on just a keto diet, which is only a protein diet, only carb diet, or only lipid diet. Or we should refrain from dieting also as far as possible. We should have a moderate, well balanced diet in addition to physical activity. And in leafy vegetable, if people are vegetarian and want to have like all sort of vitamins in their body, so they should also take intake of a mushroom, because mushrooms are high in vitamin B12, which is not found generally in other vegetarian food. Lemon and avla is again the highest source of vitamin C. And vitamin C, which is citric acid, water soluble vitamin, it's the highest immunity booster thing. So you should take it. And after COVID era, you must all be very much like known about this vitamin C tablet or the zinc tablet been circulating after the COVID and during the COVID times. Then Ayurveda says take Satmya, which is according to suitability. So it says adapting to wholesome food, which has been adapted by majority of us since birth as per our body constitution or Prakriti, which is nature of the individual. So as per Ayurveda, every individual has its own nature, Prakriti, body type. So Ayurveda treatment consists of customized treatment as per one individual. The same treatment cannot be given to the other individual. It depends. The Prakriti is decided on the basis of doshas, dominance in the body, which is of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So what is dominant? Like Kaphaj Pittaj is dominant, Pittaj Vatas is dominant, and like that. On the basis of that analysis, on the basis of that question is when the Ayurveda doctor asks the patient. So the Prakriti of a patient or individual is being decided. And then as per Prakriti, we should like what we are adapted since our birth. For example, we live in India, and our digestive fire, we need high fiber diet for our digestion, unlike the Western countries. So we should not blindly follow the Western culture and their food and diet habits, because the immunity also depends upon the geographical region. We are being adapted to the Indian culture, we are being adapted to the Indian geography. And in India also there are sub geographical areas, like some are from Maharashtra, some are from Northeast India, North India, South India. So accordingly, what they have been adapted to the food culture as per their culture since the birth, so that would again boost their immunity. If they are going something which is they are not adapted since long period of time, and just follow blindly watching on TV or YouTube channels, that is not going to help them in any ways. So it's like whatever you are suitable. Satmya, for example, South Indian peoples are mostly they eat rice. So if like suddenly they go into a roti kind of thing which they are not adapted to, so they will have some kind of indigestion also, digestive issues like that. So we should always follow what are we are adapted to since our birth, so that we can boost our immunity. Then this next point is timely food intake. So as I discussed earlier, timely food intake is very essential. The best time to have lunch as per Ayurveda is 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., in which the digestive fire is working the most efficient way. And we can have a light breakfast and a light dinner. Next point is intake of 1 spoon ghee in meals. So I generally recommend these to my patients, and the preferred would be you can take both ghee, cow or buffalo. Buffalo is high, little high in fat, so always prefer like cow ghee, and 1 spoon in lunch meals and 1 spoon in dinner time. Because what does it do? And it's a myth that it helps you in gaining weight or something like that. It doesn't help like that. It helps you in proper digestion of your food, proper assimilation of your food, and so that your digestive fire is efficient, you have a proper metabolic system in the body, and you are like away from any diseases and disorders, you can prevent it easily. So it's very important. You can just practically do this for 7 days and see the changes in your like the routine. The next point is intake of 1 2 spoon of chavan prash. So I generally recommend taking chavan prash, which is either 1 spoon or 2 spoon morning or and evening after meals, because chavan prash is already it contains like 52 vital immunity booster ingredients. And the 52, out of this 52, the first few are the richest source of vitamin C, and vitamin C is again the highest immunity booster vitamin. So it's very important to take this chavan prash, in which if you take 1 or 2 spoons, like it's very easy to adapt this taking this for 1 2 spoon of chawanprash on a daily basis, and you can boost your immunity. The next point is, you can, if you drink tea, or then you can have masala chai, which is usually known, you can put it tulsi, pipli, which is black pepper, ginger tea. Next point is avoid preservative and processed food. So to boost your immunity, you need to like be strictly on the home diet or homemade food. You can have outside food, but that should not be on a daily basis. You can have once or twice in a week. Avoid for the junk foods, avoid the processed food, avoid the preservative food. So avoid curd at night and in winter season. So Ayurveda says like curd is very important. Like the yogurt is the helps in the probiotic, like it's enriched in the probiotics, which helps our guts for the intestinal guts for the digestive system to be to be working efficiently. But Ayurveda says that we have to avoid it at night and in winter season, because again the same principle applies, because in night the kapha element in the environment as well as the individual body is the highest, and also in the winter season, जिसमें कि ठंडी का सीजन होता है, उसमें kapha element is highest. So we should avoid this curd, because then curd causes indigestion causes constipation and other and it suppresses the digestive system, and it again like we are prone to diseases and disorder, and our immunity is being suppressed. We should have an adequate amount of physical activity or daily. So let's say if you are not doing any sort of gymming or exercise, just walking, brisk walking, so you can do it like 30 to 50 minutes daily on a daily basis. So it would be very helpful and boost your immunity. We should have an adequate amount of sleep, which is 6 to 8 hours of sleep at a stretch. It should be a continuous one, 6 to 8, not like 3 hours at a go and then 4 hours at a go, like that. And if you are suffering from any disease, any disorder related to your back, related to a spine, degenerative changes, or any such thing which causes the irregular sleep or irregular sleep patterns, sleep apnea, and such kind of thing, so you need to consult your doctor as soon as possible. And because it's very essential you follow this diet to boost your immunity, because if you don't have sleep, the vata element in the body would be disrupted, and then it will cause you many disease and disorders. We should intake only 8 to 10 glasses of water. It's a myth. Like I have heard people saying drink plenty of water, but the word plenty is not been defined by anyone. Plenty means how much, like 20 glasses or what? So we should be strictly 8 to 10 glasses of water only, except in kidney disorders or in kidney patient, where the doctor suggests the patient to not drink more than 1 liter of water. So except that, in ideal condition, 8 to 10. If you have quite more, then it can vary slightly. But if you have more, too too much of water, like too much of plenty of water, it may cause you sinusitis, which is called as pratishay roga in Ayurveda. Treatment of disease of disorder, if any, if you are suffering from any disease, any disorder, so kindly consult your doctor so as to you have a proper treatment, so which is helpful in boosting your immunity. Intake of turmeric milk. So turmeric milk is quite helpful in boosting your immunity. You must have milk, herd milk in general, to have daily 1 glasses of milk is very good for our health. Since childhood you must be hearing that. But with the turmeric, turmeric acts as a catalyst, and it helps in curing, and boosting our immunity in many ways, and also curing many diseases. It has been proven to cure cancer also. So it's so powerful, potent drug. So it's like the this turmeric, you need to take just 1 small spoon of turmeric in lukewarm water, this milk, at night after meals, which is very good. Milk you can take, like if you have any other, because of any reason you are unable to take at night, you can take in morning also. But the preferred time according to Ayurveda to take this lukewarm water milk with turmeric is after meals at night, so that it boosts your immunity, or it increases the ojas in your body. Intake of vitamin C like avla, lemon, and oranges. So vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, even though avla, which is Indian gooseberry, is the cheapest and the richest source of vitamin C available in the environment. So we should have 1 avla daily at least, I would recommend. So what happens, vitamin C is water soluble. Even if you have a daily 1 avla, so it won't be restored in your body, it will be excreted through your urine on daily basis, so you don't need to worry about it. And also, as per Ayurveda, it is three doshagna. It doesn't it causes the proper balance in vata, pitta, and kapha element. It doesn't increase or decrease the doshas in the body. So avla is very good. Second is lemon and oranges, in case you don't like avla, or you don't have or avla as around you, so you can have lemon in diet. Lemon is also rich in vitamin C, and also good in rich source of iron. So you must have heard in Indian culture, like people used to, in the Indian meal, they used to have a slice of lemon in it, because of that reason. And also oranges, which is also good source of vitamin C. Intake of turmeric milk, which I already discussed. Then it's intake of ashwagandha churn. If you follow all the points above, you don't need to take additionally this ashwagandha churna. But still, I have mentioned here to your knowledge. This is a very commonly found powder, Ayurveda medicine, you can say, or wellness product, you can say. Ashwagandha churna or once, and the other tablet is Arogya Vardhini tablet also. So it helps in boosting our immunity. You can buy ashwagandha churna. You can take it 1 spoon of ashwagandha churna with lukewarm milk, like at night after meals. Either turmeric milk you can have, or ashwagandha milk you can have. Any of it you can have, it's your choice. Then go for detoxification of the body. So it also helps in boosting your immunity. So there is a therapy called as panchakarma therapy. Panchakarma, which consists of 5: snehan, swedan, vaman, virachan, basti, which means these are Ayurvedic terms. I didn't mean to confuse you all. This is basically snehan, which is the body massage of the body; swedan, which is the body steam; woman, in which the if the kapha element in the body is high in the some of the disease disorder condition. So in Ayurveda, their doctor gives some kind of drugs, medicine to the patient, such patients, so that the kapha element is being like it's a not a voluntary vomiting, it's a involuntary, sorry, not a involuntary, it's a voluntary vomiting. So the emesis is being done, and kapha is being excreted out through the mouth. Then the second is in the other therapy is pittaj, like the Virechan therapy, in which if any individual is suffering from any disease disorder which has a higher dominant of pitta, and also the individual prakriti is pitta, then such medicines are given to the patient, so that the pittaj element or the pittaj thing in the body is being being excreted out, detoxicated out from the body through the stools, motions. Then it's the basti, which is like if there is some sort of disease condition, for example, osteoarthritis, like Vata's type of disease, in which the old age disease kind of thing. So such medicines are given to the patients, so that in the form of kada or in the form of medicated oil through the anus with the help of a small pipe, so that the all the vata element like the high vata element in the body is being excreted out through this. So, and also there is one panchakarma therapy called as Rakta Mokshan, which is in which there is a leech. You must have heard leech. So there are two kinds of leech, poisonous and non-poisonous. So the non-poisonous leech is very helpful, effective for hypertension and many disease disorder condition like the skin diseases, psoriasis, if there is alopecia, hair loss. So there also, if the leech is being stuck, and swelling, inflammation also is stuck, so it suck out the only the impure blood in the from the individual, and the patient is being cured. And panchkarma therapy is basically not only for the disease disorder person, even the healthy people, or like even you me, like everyone can go for preventive cure also with the panchkarma therapy, just a detox for the body, on an like at least once or twice annually, like for the preventive measures. Then it's regular yoga and meditation. Regular yoga and meditation is very important to boost the immunity for our mental health. So at least I would suggest, if you're not doing yoga, if you don't know, so at least do medication for at least 15 minutes daily, 15 minutes, and it will help you drastically. Over the time, you can increase the time limit to let's say 25 or 30 minutes, but you can start with 10 to 15 minutes of time. It's very helpful to to focus on our energy of the body, focus on the Shata Chakra elements in the body, 108 vital points in the body, and which again helps to boost our immunity. Then we talk about vaccination. So if we have poor immunity, so as you know, like after this COVID, we have been vaccinated for COVID vaccinations. So this also again boosts our immunity. So avoid steroidal drugs. So refrain from taking steroidal drugs, and also in if you are suffering from any medicine disease or disorder also, and if your doctor is prescribing drugs and if the drug content is steroid, refrain from it as far as possible. If not, if you have if you need to take steroidal drugs, so take it in the limited amount. Start with the lower doses as per the doctor's consultation. And for the person who like take the steroidal drugs when they go to the gym for muscle making, so I would suggest them to not take the steroidal drugs. This over the time is very harmful to your body, and it like it deteriorates your immune system. It may cause, like for time being, it may give you muscle gain, glamorous look, but over the time it will cause like your immune system would be suppressed, and you will be prone to many disease and disorders. Then it's monitor SpO2 levels. So we were not the like very common to monitoring our SpO2 levels at home, but after this COVID pandemic started, the last slide is high immunity booster fruits and vegetables. So it's avla, Indian gooseberry, grapefruit, orange, lemon, apple, blueberry, which is mainly found in North America, but now in India also in Himachal Pradesh, broccoli, spinach, garlic, lemon, almond, and yogurt. So these are some of the fruits and vegetables which is easily being found at Indian homes, and we can inculcate this in our day-to-day like diet for boosting our immunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really informative and incredible session. Now we have some participants with some query regarding the same.
Sure.
On their behalf, I would like to ask some questions. So the first question is, how Ayurveda are considered as better option for treatment of COVID?
So basically, in COVID, in the treatment of COVID, first we talked about the in this session about the diet, physical activity, and the homemade remedies which we need to inculcate in our day-to-day life. So we need to go for the preventive measures. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. And the second question is like, what is the best option to improve immunity, medicine or diet?
ideal case, it's all obviously the diet, not the medicine.
Ma'am, one question is like, how can we do regular health checkup?
So regular health checkup, and if you find like any of the symptoms, signs and symptoms in you, for example, like if you find feverish yourself or to more than 2 to 3 days, so you need to consult to your nearest doctor. Either you go in the clinic itself walking, or if you can't, then you can have a telemedicine consultation, which is nowadays very common to consult any doctor at just one click. You can consult them through your using your smartphones, and you can do your regular health checkups, at least if you are in a healthy state, once in 6 months. If a little bit of thing is here and there, you can go once a month also for a regular checkups. And also annually, at least I would recommend do your complete blood test count, CBC report investigation done for the checkup of vitamin B12, vitamin D, iron studies, calcium, hemoglobin, which is the basic, like the investigations to know if everything is well in your body.
Okay, ma'am. One more question. What is the best way to keep our body, mind energetic while doing work from home?
So work from home is like quite a hectic, because in this we are unable to differentiate between our works which is specified for the home and the work which is specified for the office. So it's actually very hectic. So what we have to do, we need to go for a meditation, like at least 15 minutes daily, morning and evening, which is very good for our mental state, so that we can focus on our energy levels. And yes, apart from that, we do need to have a proper diet and physical activity for the good physical health.
What is the right time to have a dinner as per Ayurveda?
So Ayurveda says, as per Ayurveda, like in today's, according to today's time also, lifestyle also, what the ideal time is, like you should have like after the dinner, like 3 hours after the dinner, you should go to bed for number one, and you should try to have your dinner before 9 p.m. Yeah, the ideal is 7 p.m. before, but that is not practically possible to each one of us. So if you have your dinner like between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., so it's the ideal time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
next question is why there is more chance of illness in rainy season as compared to summer and winter season?
Sure. So what happens, like the doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, which is the basic element in the individual, and these doshas are also found in the environment also. So Ayurveda principle says like the environment element is similar to the individual's element. So what happens in rainy seasons? I'm not going into very deep to let you like study in detail about Ayurveda, but the basic thing, so that in outliner, in rainy season, what happens? The vata element, the air element in the environment also increases, and in the individual body also increases. And the properties of air element is the movement, displacement. Air is equal to displacement, so it displaces the pitta and the kapha element in the individual body, and which is when imbalanced, like the kapha and pitta, both the other doshas are imbalanced, and it causes the various disease and disorders. So they are more prone, the probability of diseases and disorders in rainy season is therefore quite more as compared to summer season. And in winter season, it's best immunity, because the kapha element is the highest in the individual body. Also the strength of the individual is also quite better. You must have noticed yourself in winter season, you feel quite energetic and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making our doubt clear. The webinar was really amazing, and I would like to propose heartily vote of thanks to you for gracing today's webinar. Your presence and wise word help magnify our case in best possible ways. I hope all the participants learn a lot with the webinar. I would really like to thank you, ma'am, for giving us valuable time, and I'm delighted to be part of today's webinar. A good event never ends in the word. They take only pause and keep us awaiting for the next. All good things eventually end, and I consider everyone as fortunate that they become a part of this webinar, which was full of knowledge, which makes difficult to say goodbye. And remember, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel